You're listening to
They're going to call it a hard foul. They're going to call it a hard foul.
offering in-depth analysis on all things Boston Celtics with your hosts, Jim and Mike Quigley.
Brown runs into Doncic, blocking foul, and that's it. He's fouled out. Luka Doncic has fouled out with 4:12 remaining. Once again, Brown using the screen. Drives, pulls up, jump shot, puts it in. Jaylen Brown now with 30, and the lead.
3-0, one game away. It's get the duck boats ready, get the parades ready. This thing is over. The Luka Doncic tears are so tasty and delicious. I want more of them because of his own, lazy incompetence on the defensive end on what was just a terrible, terrible sixth foul, and was a foul no matter, how many ways you want to look at it. The Celtics hold on, Mike. It got a little bit nerve-wracking there in the fourth quarter when they the 21-point lead, got all the way down to 1 at one point.
It wasn't a little bit in this house. It was more than a little bit.
More than a little bit. Yeah, no, it was tough. It was tough, but they held on, and I thought there were some key moments that we can talk about. And, what an incredible run. We're talking 10 straight playoff wins, 15-2, haven't lost on the road. If they finish them off Friday night, their total record through 100 games for the season will be 80-20, 800 basketball. Just remarkable stuff. And I saw people on Twitter call the Celtics moment their CTE moment. That happens to them every once in a while.
Once in a while. Every game.
They won. And they won, and it's happened twice in the series, quarter 3 of game 1, and then last night. But they continue to win, maybe unlike past seasons where a game like last night they would have lost. How you feeling? Pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty awesome. I mean, how the hell, when your team is in the middle of a 21-2 run, or whatever it was, Celtics had 2 points in 8 minutes, which I don't even know how that's possible, and you pick up your 5th and 6th foul, and
26 seconds.
You don't play defense all series. All series long, you're not playing defense, and then you decide to try to do some acting fouls, like you're gonna get away with it, and you're not even good at it.
No.
I gotta tell you something, Jim, and I know that you may, and other Celtics fans may not want to hear this, but Luke is the reason they lost last night.
Oh yeah,
the Celtics are handing you this game, and you foul out with 4.5 minutes left in the middle of one of the biggest epic meltdowns in NBA Finals history. You cannot foul out right there. And then their coach is an idiot. They're in the middle of a 21-2 run. The Celtics make another horrible mistake on offense. Luka has the ball, Mavs have the numbers, and he calls a timeout. I don't even know. Why did Jason Kidd call that timeout last night? Because he didn't want to lose it? I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I'm so happy the Celtics won. I'm so happy that Brown hit that shot and Tatum got that dunk, and Drew Holiday threw that amazing left-handed pass to Derek White, and White does what he always does and drilled that 3. Being up 3-0 is amazing. I'm not saying it's over because I just, as a Celtics fan, I wish I had how in video games you can simulate. I wish I could just simulate to the end of the closeout game so I don't have to get stressed out. But yeah, man, I'm so happy to be up 3-0, and there were a lot of big plays. I think it's the third quarter. Was unbelievable. The ball movement, just attacking Luka over and over again. There was a play where Brown got a 3 in the corner, and JJ Redick was like, well, look at the help defense by Kyrie Irving. And I just texted you, help defense. That's rich.
Oh, and what a great pass that was by Tatum, and then Kyrie was like looking the other direction. I'm looking at this Luka.
I mean, Luka and Kyrie looking in the other direction so much in this series. Like, Windhorst is right. It's almost like 4-on-5 when the Mavs are on defense. It's not an over-exaggeration. It really isn't. I was like, every time Luka was covering somebody and they shot a 3 last night, I was texting you mad because it's like, it's one crossover and you're in the paint. You just have to put the effort in.
Well, so what's interesting, I'm watching this fifth foul again, and it's like you're supposed to get hit square in the chest. Brown kind of hits him here because Luka doesn't move his feet. He goes to take the charge late when Brown's into his move. It's an easy call for any seasoned official. I did get nervous last night when they were reviewing it for that long. I'm thinking, are they trying to find a way to keep this guy in the game? But I think
I thought for sure.
I think they just knew the significance of the call and was having the league look at it and making sure, all right, we know what we see here. Let's get everyone on the same page. And I think that happened. So kudos to them for keeping the call the way it should have been. And what a stupid play. Just an incredibly stupid play by him. And
Dude, I know you don't even play defense. Just let Brown score like you always do.
Yeah, and actually, the thing
just let Brown go score.
Dallas had so if you freeze frame that play, Mavs help actually got back. Hottie's in the paint, Lively's retreating to the paint, and Kyrie's kind of trailing the play. Kyrie's not really effective. So, I mean, can Jalen beat Hottie and get to the hoop and possibly get fouled? Sure. But there was no reason to do what Luka did there. None whatsoever. Move your feet, try to get in front of him, or just let him go. Because you have 5 in that situation. Maybe the smartest thing was to just let him go. That was such a stupid, selfish play. And it was, you bring up the timeout. He was pissed at that timeout. And then he was pissed that they didn't challenge the one before, which was also a foul. Like, I know they show him the Jalen hook, but the body, the arm.
Yep.
Like, Luka fouls on, and that's the thing. Like, they could have called him for about 10 fouls that game, both on the off. I'm glad they didn't. Both on the offensive side and certainly on the defensive side. I mean, it was just a couple possessions early on the loose ball where he clearly, tackled Brown in the middle of the court almost, that they could have called a foul on. And I don't think the officiating was great throughout. I think he got fouled on more than 1 or 2 drives where he could have went to the line. Tatum on his dunk over P.J. Washington was clearly hit. But that play and the 5th foul, they were both fouls. And the 6th foul was about as dumb and as selfish of a play from a superstar that you could have in that moment. And he should get roasted. And I understand he might not be 100% out healthy. That doesn't excuse that play. And the other thing too, and I don't want to spend, the Celtics deserve our attention, but Luka was not good. You brought it up. That was not a good game for him. High turnovers again. They finally started in that run. They finally started hitting above the break threes. P.J. Washington hit a big one. Hottie hit a big one. They had not shot the whole series. And again, Jason Kidd, that's on him for not drilling into this team that they had to shoot those. They have not. They only took 27 threes last night, again. But what does Luka do? He goes one-on-one against Jason. The Celtics don't bring help. They're going to, Tatum's got him one-on-one. The above the break 3 is still open. He decides to go one-on-one in a layup. Tatum forces him to a tough shot, stays 93-90. Kyrie tries to take him tough mid-range. They had chances before Luka fouled out to even cut into this lead more, tie the game, potentially take the lead. It was 2 or 3 possessions. One of those possessions, at least one, there was a second other layup attempt that Luka, I thought, forced up again. He didn't, I don't think he made the right basketball reads, and then he hurt him on the other end. And as for the Celtics, the thing that made them survive this was game plan specific. I just talked about the Jason Tatum defense. on Luka in those situations. And then when they finally got going over the last 3 minutes on offense, it was a Tatum drive. Two guys go to him. No one boxes out Brown. Because of the drive, he puts it back in.
Yeah.
Through Holiday drive, two people converge. Wide open Derek Wright for a three. Sent it to Tatum in the middle. He gets a dunk. It was getting back to the basics and their game plan. And outside of the fourth quarter, that 8-minute span in the fourth, and about a 6-minute span in game one in the third quarter, the Celtics game plan specific have been awesome on both ends. They have not deviated at all.
Yeah.
And it you know, they deserve all the credit in the world. You know, I thought they were going to lose during that run last night, Mike. They held on to win. And kudos to Jaylen Brown.
Thank God.
Forcing the issue. He was awesome. He's been great. Yeah, we should spend some time on it. He's been outstanding.
Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, I mean, their whole game plan specific. I mean, anytime it's just attack these guys off the dribble over and over and over again, and you're gonna find something. In the third quarter last night, the threes started to fall. I mean, they hit 9 threes in the first half last night, but they're still only shooting 33%. But out of those 27 threes, I would say like 22 of them were probably very good shots.
Oh, yeah.
And once you hit that third quarter last night, only down 51-50, I felt like they were definitely winning this game going into halftime. And finally, you know, they just started hitting, and they had that 35-point quarter or 36-point quarter. They just I do think they took their foot off the gas when they went up 21 after that timeout.
Oh, sure.
That 10-0 run was really quick. Missoula has been coaching great, but I think putting Peyton Pritchard in was a mistake, and he waited too long to call a timeout. But even after that timeout, they were still up 11.
Yeah.
And they got tight. They got tight. They did. Yeah. They got tight. They would turn the ball over, and then they were making
forfeit travel and the Drew Holiday forced three. Yeah.
And then not only that, the mistakes they were making on defense. They were leaving guys in the corner open. They were doubling Luka, which I don't think was ever part of the game plan. There was a play where they doubled Luka down by the hoop.
I don't think the corner three hurt them. I thought Dallas finally started taking the above.
No, but they didn't hurt them because the Mavs didn't hit it. PJ Washington missed 2 wide open corner threes during that run. And then the double on Luka down by the baseline where he hit Josh Green for the 3. It was like, what? Why are we doubling?
You know
we haven't been doubling this guy.
That was the game plan, Mike. That was the game plan. They have been giving them that shot. They've been giving the above the break 3 because they don't think Dallas will take it, and they finally took them. You know, and so like, so like that they said that's the one thing we're giving up. We will help off that. You guys don't take them, and so shame on Dallas for not taking them throughout the series. Look what happened. They went on a 10-0 run in like a minute because they finally took that shot, and they finally started shooting the 3 with the role players. You know, so.
Yeah, well, it's 3-0, and you want to talk about Jaylen Brown? I mean, I'm agreeing with everybody else. Through 3 games, he's been the MVP of the series. His numbers have been incredible. To put up 38 and 8 last night. Throughout his career, he's taken a lot of heat that he's not a playmaker, that he turns the ball over too much, that he doesn't have a left hand. He doesn't have a left hand. He had 3 turnovers last night, but still, his playmaking was huge. His passing has been great in this series. I think he's had 5 or more assists in every game, right, Jim? With this NBA Finals.
I don't know. I saw a stat that he's shot over 50% for 7 straight playoff games.
Yeah, he's been one of the
awesome.
He's been the most efficient scorer in the NBA since the All-Star break.
He's been awesome, and he had a turnover during that run that was really bad. And if that was last year, things just would have unraveled for him. And look what he did over the last 3.5 minutes. 4 minutes, he forced the issue on Luka, had him foul out. You know, he went right at him, knowing the situation, and it didn't fool around. It was 100 miles per hour to the hoop. Smart play. Then he has that big putback, you know, knowing he needs to crash on the drive. Then he just get complacent. He crashed on the drive and got the putback. And then, I mean, that last shot was not an easy shot that he made. That was a contested, you know, kind of pump fake into his shot and just elevated over his man and made it into a clean look on a mid-range. And then that kind of sealed the game. Didn't absolutely seal the game. Kyrie on the next possession was just, you talk about your superstars just coming up small. Like, he was great all game, Kyrie, but you have 42 seconds, down 4, and the best you do is a step back 3 after you run 20 seconds off the shot clock. I mean, that's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it looked like Kyrie was trying to get off that same shot he had against was it Golden State back in like 2016. Yeah, but and the other thing with Jaylen Brown too in this game in particular is they asked him to step away from what he's comfortable with, to stand in the corner in that third quarter, and a lot of that fourth quarter, and be the option for that open 3. And he drilled them. He was drilling that corner 3. I want to say he hit 2 or 3 of them that were just huge, huge shots. His defense on Luka, his defense on Kyrie, I thought when Kyrie got going last night, there were a couple possessions there where Brown got on him and Kyrie couldn't get his shot off. Yeah, he's been terrific. And every year he gets better at something. Every year he adds something to his game. And this year was playmaking. This year was getting his teammates involved in his passing. Last year it was his defense. Carried over into this year. A couple years ago, it was his mid-range jump shot. It was his 3-point shot. Every year it's been something. A couple years ago on the pod, you wrote an article about him. And we talked about it, how every year he gets better at something. And that's continued even into...
Oh, it really has.
Yeah, as a 27-year-old guy, it's... he added a post game this year that he hasn't had to show in this playoffs. No, there has been no series to really have to utilize that. But yeah, I mean, he has been their best player. He has been their best defender, their best offensive player, and the leader of this team now for several months. And it's pretty awesome. It's really, really awesome. I mean, he's been one of the best players in the NBA now for several months. And I don't think he really got any credit for that. And now he's starting to get it now, these last 2 series.
It was a masterclass in player development, his career. It's one of those things that coaches around the league should take a look at, and GMs, and what you want to model in terms of just player development year after year. When you think about where he came in as a rookie and where he is now on the biggest stage and probably going to be the MVP of the NBA Finals, he's been just fantastic. And look, I think a lot of the time, and in the third quarter in particular, he's been the beneficiary of some of the coverages on Jason Tatum. But Tatum went out with 3.5 minutes to go in that third quarter, or 3 minutes to go, and he played the Tatum role. And things just continue to click, and it ended with that just monster jam, with Kyrie and Luka just kind of sitting there watching. It was, and they went up 15 into that fourth. It was a great show. I tell you, that third quarter was as good an offensive performance out of the Celtics that we've seen all playoffs, maybe all season. Brown and Tatum were spectacular, both in that third quarter. It was just it was a masterclass on just what you need from your superstars in those moments. And thank God they did it. They needed every point and every run in that third quarter to, hold on to this thing. But it was just perfect offense. It was making the right reads. It was continuing to move the ball. And then I thought fourth quarter, Dallas did make an adjustment on defense. They would not let the Celtics switch on to Luka. Even when they went for a screen, they immediately had him scramble out of it, and they hid him quite a bit. And I thought the Celtics, because they were trying to stay game plan specific, go after certain matchups, got stagnant because of that, almost trying to hunt him too much. And, unfortunately for them, the Mavs were making them pay on the other end because they were getting stops. So I wonder if we see more of that Friday night. Not that it makes a real difference at this point. It's just been, this team, Mike, you get almost a loss for words all year long. You've seen in the playoffs, they're not as good as you think they are. They can't win the clutch games, or, this is a team that, once again, they're going to get this far and they're going to show who they are. I mean, every ESPN expert, at best would have the Celtics win this series in 6. The ones that picked them in 7, but out of the 17, they picked the Mavs. You had everyone over at Fox Sports, led by Nick Wright, picking the Mavs. You had Kevin O'Connor over at The Ringer, multiple times during this run saying that this team isn't good enough and, all but declaring the Mavs the champions before the series started. And I get it, why there was a lack of trust because of what has happened past seasons. But if you actually watch this team this year, I think the one thing, and even I picked the Celtics in 6 when every instinct in me knew this was a bad matchup and this thing could have been ended sooner. And we heard coming into the series over and over again, Celtics hadn't played anybody. The conversation really should have been, the Mavs haven't played anybody like this. And the Mavs haven't matched up against anybody like this. And this is a terrible matchup for the Mavs on every level. And you had all the evidence in the world showing you that. The 2 times they played, you heard it didn't matter because this is a different Mavs team after the trade. Well, the principal players were the same, and they defend the same way. And the way they defend doesn't work against the Celtics team. The defensive scheme did not change from midseason to what they did in the playoffs. They just got better at it. But it still doesn't work against the Celtics.
Yeah.
And I
can't give up.
There's very few teams in the league right now that would really, I look at as a bad matchup for the Celtics. Denver might be the one. Minnesota would have gave them some trouble too. But on the whole, this team is just loaded. They play well. Who knows what next season will bring? For the most part, they had, good luck with injuries until Porzingis this year. So you never know what next year is going to bring. You don't know if Al Horford's going to step away and retire. There's still one more to finish this series. But an incredible run, an incredible team. And I think we're going to look at this, Mike, when we're all said and done, of how they match up with other great teams in the history of the NBA. And I think that's fair to do that based on how they have rolled through this thing. Not just in the playoffs, all season long. Rolled through it.
And I'm definitely happy to have that conversation when they get their 4th win. I'm ready to hold off. I want to make sure that even though all the statistics bear that this is over, I'm not saying it's over because I witnessed the Red Sox do it. We saw the Celtics almost do it last year, really. So, but yeah, I mean, it would be an epic failure if they don't pull this out. And so, Jim,
I would say in both those cases, the Celtics were better than the Heat, talent-wise, and the Sox were absolutely loaded talent-wise.
Sure.
This is a talent mismatch.
It sure is.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Jim, I don't think that Scott Foster's gotten to be the crew chief on a game yet, and he's on this. He's part of this rotation. So I'd expect his team to be out there Friday night. Are you in the same boat as me as far as like the Celtics are going to get no calls on Friday? I don't think. And Luka, over under 15 free throws for him, you think, going into this game on Friday night?
Yeah, I don't know.
I have a feeling he's going to be spending a lot of time at the line.
He'll get to the line. I wonder really how much is left in the tank for him right now. So we'll see what he comes out Friday night,
Well, yeah, that was my next point. If we go back to the bubble, the first round against Joel Embiid, that game 4, Joel Embiid shot 20 free throws in the first half against Boston. So like you saw the NBA just try, and I think the Celtics had like 4 free throws in the first half of that game.
Yeah.
But the same thing happened to Embiid that always happens, and what's happening to Luka in the second half, he was exhausted.
Well, so I tell you though, Luka's a lot of pull up. It's a lot of getting into his mid range, and the Celtics do a really good job of just staying honest. There were a couple times he should have got into the line, without a doubt, last night, but he didn't deserve 10 to 20 free throws, and he just doesn't play that way. So maybe he will try to play that way, but he doesn't play that way.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Like if I was coaching Dallas and I might be telling him to try to draw some more contact on
Kyrie
Friday.
doesn't get to the line at all.
He doesn't. That's not
Never
his
has
game.
throughout his career.
And I think their game actually plays into the Celtics and what they want to do.
Of course.
Last night they're up 51-50, and Kyrie and Luka have 37 points combined going into the second half. Dallas has had no ball movement.
7 assists. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Going into halftime.
I hope they continue to play that way. They also drain their energy by the third quarter. The two of them are exhausted. And so for me, I guess my key to victory for Game 4, it's one or the other. Be close at halftime, be down 5 or 6 points, and I'll feel really good about it. Or get a lead early, get a big lead early, and it's over. Just don't, that first punch from Dallas, if Dallas comes out like they did last night, don't get down 25-10 again. You got to keep this thing close. I think you keep this thing close, we can call it a wrap. I think if the Celtics keep this thing close, it's not coming back to Boston. That's how I feel.
Well, you just stick to your game plan. Like, continue to drive hard and kick and let the results be the results. And maybe the results are bad. And maybe you miss a lot of shots and you have a bad game, but that's what you continue to do. And defensively, I wouldn't change much. I mean, if I'm Dallas, you should look at that run and say, okay, we need to shoot these. Now, we need to shoot the above the break three. That's the only way we're going to beat these guys. I just don't know if Luka and Kyrie are built to not play the one-on-one game and actually move the ball enough to take enough of those above the break threes. And that's the question. I mean, they played completely
I feel like
of Dallas, and the Dallas has played completely into the hands of Boston by going one-on-one and creating their own individual shots. So you saw it in that 10-0 run. They had 2 above the break threes. It happened quickly. It shows how effective a weapon the three-point shot is. But if you take 27 threes to the Celtics 46, you're going to lose. You get outscored by 27 from the three-point line to the Celtics. You're going to lose. So Celtics just stay game plan specific. Whatever the results are, the results are. I mean, the Mavericks, they could win one. I find it highly unlikely that they could win 2 in a row. So, great to finish it in 4. It would also be really fun to finish it in Boston too.
Yeah. So Jim, if it does finish in 4, what's our plan for this pod? Are we going to go on Friday night after the game?
I don't know. We'll be on very soon after that for sure. Yeah, I don't know if I can do Friday night after the game, but we'll be on very soon. We'll try to do that. If not Saturday, we'll jump on. And then the draft isn't that much longer after the finals.
Well, I was thinking if we want to get a drunk pod, and maybe Friday night would be the drunk pod.
Oh, yeah, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, we could possibly do that. We could do a quick 20-minute pod or something like that. If they win, I think there's a good chance it is a sweep. But it's
let's go. Let's end it.
Yeah, it's time to be obnoxious. It's time to be the obnoxious Boston fan. Hey, how about the Garden last night? Packed, sold out for the watch party. How cool was that?
You gotta get that money for the luxury tax. That's smart. Do a Friday too.
I know,
you need that money, man, because the bills are coming. The bills are coming, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, tax two seasons from now. Boston. They really hit 2 seasons from now. Yeah. Mike, any closing thoughts on this thing?
Come on, man. Close this shit out. Fucking end this shit Friday night. I don't want to watch any more games. I want it to be over.
Hey, how about Joe Mazzulla? Any thoughts on him? I like this. No one we were more critical of last season.
Joe, you've been great, Joe. You've been great.
He's been really good.
Yeah, the team is like, without Kristaps Porzingis, I think their record is like 10-1 now or something crazy like that in the postseason. Joe's hitting all the right buttons, man.
He's been great.
He's got the right to play too. They're all ready to play. They're all focused on the game plan. They're all dialed in. They listen to what he says, and it's a credit to him. It's also credit to the leadership on this team. we talk about Kyrie and Luka and the way they play and their inability to play any other way to get their teammates involved better, to take more threes than the above the break three. Tatum and Brown have sacrificed a lot of their scoring. They've done a lot of the other things that need to be done to win. And that's not done without coaches that they believe in and buy into. So yeah, everything's working right now. Everything's cooking. Coaching.
You know what else points to good coaching too is when you have a guy like Xavier Tillman, who has basically played no minutes throughout the entire playoffs, come in and defend like he did and stick to the game plan. Like, of course, he hits that corner three, which was a riot, and it was an awesome moment how the bench reacted. But
was awesome.
You're not looking at any Dallas bench players. I mean, Hardaway gave them nothing last night when he came in after not playing for a while. So you can see the Celtics guys, when they're called upon, whoever it is, they're prepared, they're ready to go. They know what their job is in those in particular moments. Max Kleber is on the other side is passing up threes, and that's exactly why he's in there. And you look at what, you got out of Tillman. Pritchard's defense was really, really good. Yeah, I know we can focus on that stretch of offense that he had. That wasn't Hauser was really, really good. Probably should have been in the game instead of Pritchard in the fourth quarter. But that is a sign of coaching when those guys come in and they're ready to go. So just game plan, player management, all of that has been really good. And kudos to Xavier Tillman. He seems another guy that seems like a really genuinely good guy. So when he comes in and performs like that, it's kind of good to see. And I did say Tillman would probably be the guy, so I'm going to take credit for that.
Hey,
couldn't play. That's it, Mike. Hey, one win away. This has been a frustrating team at times for the past 6-7 seasons. They've gotten so close. It's now finally happening. I'm sure people will find things to complain about, but it really doesn't matter. Once you have that championship, you don't have to say sorry to anybody. So that's it.
Stop, drop, kaboom. Tillman rubs on his nipples. Woo! One more win, baby. Let's go.
All right. I'll see ya.